Hi, today I'm going to be giving a book update for what I've read so far this year, 2025. We're about halfway through 2025. It's been 6 months. I haven't really given any reviews or reading updates so far this year, so I thought I would use this 6-month mark to go ahead and talk about what I've been reading so far. Okay, the first book I read in 2025 was Oh, William by Elizabeth Strout. I thought this was such a fun little book to read. I mean, it is literary fiction. It's really, really well written, so it's not like super, super fun, but to me it was fun. It mostly focused on 2 characters that I think have had multiple books written about them, but I've only read this one. That's like an older woman and her husband, and it's from her perspective, and she's just like kind of talking about her husband, and they're like investigating an old family mystery of his. And I thought it was so well written and kind of funny, and I just loved how strong the character's voice was. I really liked this one. Next book I read was Good Material by Dolly Alderton. I really love Dolly Alderton's vibe. I read Everything I Know About Love. I really liked that. I like that she's kind of like Nora Ephron-y in that, like, she's smart but funny and approachable. I really like her vibe, so I had high expectations for this book. And they weren't totally met. I was not in love with it. I thought it was fine. I felt like it didn't have a lot of breathing room. Like, I feel like it was really edited and really structured. And you could kind of tell, like, there wasn't too much creativity or things like outside of the box or personal in it, which I think there were a lot of things like that and Everything I Know About Love. It just was a little lackluster for me, but it was totally fine. Like, it was not bad, it just was okay. Then I read The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I read this for my book club, which has been a really fun adventure this year. We don't do a lot of talking about the books. I mean, I do get there like 20 minutes late every single time, but it's been really fun. And this was my friend Nicole's pick, Thursday Murder Club. I thought it was super fun. I thought it was really cute, creative story. Yeah, it was just like a mystery following a bunch of old British people and like not a nursing home per se, but kind of that situation. And they're like getting in contact with the police and solving this mystery. Yeah, I thought it was really sweet. It was like a good book. Just a good book. It was fun. Then I read Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano. This was a book my mom really, really liked, and I've had recommended to me a few times. This book is kind of like an epic, almost. I don't really know if it would technically qualify as that, but it goes through a lot of years from the perspective of a few different sisters in this one really like kind of tight-knit family whose like family history runs deep in like all of their heads. Like, the family lore is really important. It's hard to remember their names now, but there's one sister and her husband that are kind of the main focus. And this book was good. Like, you really got into the characters' lives and personalities, and it's like what can happen over an entire lifetime, which was really a pleasure to read about. But it definitely was quite depressing, so take it with a grain of salt. It wasn't like a heartfelt book, it was like a tear your heart apart book. Then another book club book I read was Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I thought this was great. I think I'm the one that suggested it, so I don't know, I just was like, I think this is a book a lot of people will like, and I've heard about it, and it's like probably pretty easy to get into, so I recommended it. We chose it. I thought it was great. I thought the writing was really good, readable writing, like for a book that isn't super literary, like it's not supposed to gear that way. The writing is really good, and the characters are really tender and memorable. I thought it was great. I remember being like, oh yeah, that was a good book. I remember it well. Next, The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, which I actually have. I actually have my copy of it. The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. Colson Whitehead has won the Pulitzer Prize like multiple times, so he's obviously a really trusted author, really reliable. I thought this book was so good, it's so important. It kind of gave you the feeling that this is like a book you would read in school, and that it's not like for fun per se, like a popcorn book or like a book you're reading for entertainment. It's like, this is important, but the writing is so good. It has a lot of depth to it. I would really, really recommend this. Now we're kind of getting into the time around when I went to Japan, so you'll see that come up a little bit. But I read Sweet Bean Paste by Durian Sakagawa. I thought this was like a perfect book, honestly. It was short, but it was really sweet, and it only focused on mostly like 3 characters, but that was like the perfect amount. You really got to know all of them and their connection to each other, and it was like light and heavy at the same time. It was a perfect combination of those. It really showed the value of like sitting down and reading a book. It went into the human connections and the friendships and how they changed and like human nature, and I learned something from it. It just was a great book without like feeling heavy. It was just like an easy to read book that was enjoyable to read, but like packed a punch at the end. I thought this was great. Okay, then I read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I basically read this because Olivia Rodrigo recommended it, and I'm trying to get on my like creative journey, creative mindset with writing my own book, which has been touch and go. I did try to write every day. I'll give some updates on that. I succeeded for about a week, and then I kind of dropped it, and I'm trying to pick it back up again. I wrote yesterday. Anyway, I was trying to like get into the creative mindset and like, okay, let me really do this. So I read this book and I thought it was okay. I mean, I think there were some good perspectives in it that I agreed with, of like how being creative isn't like a huge philosophical like burden every day. It just is something you do because it is who you are. It was very light, which I appreciated, but it wasn't groundbreaking for me. Okay, then I listened to The Age of Magical Overthinking. Later I read The Year of Magical Thinking, so that's kind of, I don't know, I read those in the same year. This is not related to that at all. The Age of Magical Overthinking, I listened to as an audiobook while I was like trying to not get sick on buses in Japan. So that, it was mostly like a podcast type book for me, and it totally served that purpose. I thought it was something interesting to listen to and, you know, well written. It did kind of have podcast vibes, probably because it was nonfiction and I was listening to it. Again, it was nothing groundbreaking, but like it was totally fine and I didn't get sick on the bus, so it served its purpose. I got this book in Japan and mostly read it in Japan. I think I finished it here. This is Diary of a Void by Emi Yagi. I loved this book. It's about this woman who pretends to be pregnant and like is like researching what a pregnant person should be like at month 3 or whatever. She's like, okay, what size is my fake baby, and like what symptoms should I be experiencing, and goes to like workout classes with like actual pregnant women. And it just is a really weird idea, but it actually worked for me. Sometimes books kind of bother me that are just like trying to be really out there and weird. Like My Year of Rest and Relaxation I didn't love, and I didn't love Bunny, and I'm like, maybe these books just like aren't for me. But this one was. I thought it was so creative and interesting, but also really personal, and didn't feel like a gimmick. It just felt like a really original idea and a really interesting book. Yeah, I really liked this one. I would recommend. Then I finished Harry Potter, the series, again. So I read the last book. I feel a little awkward talking about these because J.K. Rowling has a lot of really contentious and harmful political views that she's vocal about, and especially during this like political climate in the US, I'm kind of like, I'm just kind of wary of that for sure. But the books have a lot of nostalgia for me, and that's kind of what I'm here for, is the magic and the friendship and the nostalgia. So that's my focus. But if you do or don't want to buy these books, that's up to you. But I finished the series. I really liked it this time around. There's not too much else to really say. I thought the nostalgia was really great, really cute. Like, I don't know, they're just good. And now we've been watching movies, so that's been really fun to look forward to. Reading through the books this time around, the ones that really stand out to me as having like the best reading experience, or I really liked them, was number 1, number 3, and number 6. Then I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. I thought it was so cute. Her writing's good. I thought it was kind of like fine, and then the ending was really good, which I remember also thinking when I read Book Lovers, was that like the overall it was fine, and then the ending was like, wow, this is really good. So she knows how to do something to an ending. I read The English Understand Wool by Helen DeWitt. This is like another kind of weird book, but that I actually liked. This is like an intellectual legal mystery. It's hard to describe. It's very short. I love this edition. It reminds me of like just sitting down and reading a picture book, and like you could read it in like an hour or two. This is like a mystery and like documents. It's really interesting, but it's good. Wealthy, mysterious girl is involved in crime. I like it. So this was great. I love the edition. Yeah, super fun. I kind of want to get more of these books. Storybook ND. They're like just so fun. I just love it. Makes me happy. Time Code of a Face by Ruth Ozeki. It's a really, really little book. It's short nonfiction where she does this experiment where she just looks in a mirror for 3 hours and writes her observations while doing that, and then kind of goes back and pairs it with like research and things. It was such a little treat of a book. Kind of going back to what I said about Sweet Bean Paste, this one also was like such a good use of time, and that it's like, oh, I'm really glad I sat down and read this book. Like, it wasn't overwhelming, but I got a lot out of it. It was awesome, and I think Ruth Ozeki is so smart and also so welcoming in her writing, which I really appreciate. Another book I read for book club was Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I thought the concept of this book was really cool. It's about how you can time travel in this cafe, but only while your coffee is still hot. So it's like a really limited short time travel, and you stay in the cafe. It's just like going back to another time there. And it goes through a few different characters, I think like 4 different time travel stories. I thought the idea was really good. I thought the writing was okay. I think it's because it was translated Japanese. I don't know Japanese in the first place, but translated Japanese books kind of have a little bit of a like staccato to them. They're like a little bit awkward and really, really simple, and I don't know if that's like kind of the signature for translated Japanese. So the writing was like not beautiful. It was more just like to get the ideas across. Nothing to complain about. Not my favorite. My book club didn't love it, but I don't know. It was fine. Then I listened to Trail of the Lost by Andrea Langford. This is a book that goes into the story of a few people that have gone missing on the Pacific Crest Trail and not been found, and the story of their families and this author trying to find them and all the different methods and kind of reckoning with when someone goes missing. I thought it was okay. I could kind of tell that the author had a personal interest in it and like working with the families, and not so much because like the concept itself is really intriguing. Just as like, here's these people's tragedies. It was okay. If you are interested in true crime and hiking, then this could be up your alley. I thought it was fine, but obviously it was quite sad, and you know, I did learn something, but it was fine. Then for book club, we read Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This was super fun. Everyone loved it. Yeah, it was like a good, solid book. For me, my favorite parts were the setting, because it takes place in Washington, where I grew up. Not the same place that I grew up, but it has the same vibes, and it was really cozy and homey to read about and really familiar, so that was great. It really reminded me of A Man Called Ove, because it really is about the past and present kind of coming together across generations, like an older generation and a younger generation coming together to merge their past with the present. So that is like a wonderful story to tell. It was great in A Man Called Ove. It's really good in this book too. Definitely recommend it. It's like a solid book. I read The Lincoln Highway by Amor Towles. This was kind of a chunky one to get through. This is a historical fiction, and it really seemed historical to me. It felt like watching a slightly older movie, not like super old, but like maybe like a random movie from the 80s. It's about three kind of around 17, 18-year-olds, I think, who kind of like got out of jail. I think maybe they like finished their sentences or they broke out. It's kind of like a mix of that. And then they are going on this road trip starting in, I want to say, Kansas to California/New York. Originally it's California, then it switches to be New York. And the characters are really memorable, really interesting and unique. It definitely kind of has that like weird kind of kitschy old movie vibe to it, which was interesting. Not something I usually read. Yeah, it was good. Solid book. Not totally like what I would normally want to read, but it was good and I liked it. My mom recommended this. She loves this author. First Time Caller by B.K. Borson. This was so fun to read. I found myself just wanting to sit down and read. And I thought this was such a cute rom-com, and it gave you all the like, well, it gave me all the like warm fuzzy feelings that I want if I like want to watch a rom-com or read one without being like cringy and not very good. Very much based on Sleepless in Seattle. I love Nora Ephron movies like everyone. Very inspired by that. Super cozy. I really loved the family involved in here, especially the mother-daughter relationship. The daughter's in middle school, and it like reading about her and her quirks really made me feel a lot of compassion and love for like my 12-year-old self, which is rare. So that was really sweet. I really liked this. The Bombshell by Darrow Farr. I thought this was also like perfect. For me, this was the right amount of crime and fun and good writing and cool characters. It was like such a good novel to me where it was engaging and fun and like I had no problems with it, and I loved the setting. This is set in Corsica, and I studied abroad not in Corsica but in the south of France, and so the vibes are kind of the same, and that was just so lovely to read about. Yeah, this was great. I highly recommend this book. It like had the plot and it had the writing and it had the characters. It was great. On NetGalley, I read How to Commit a Post-Colonial Murder by Nina McConigley. This I read over the course of a few months. I didn't like this book. I think the concept is good. It's about this Indian girl in Wyoming who kills her uncle with her sister by like poisoning because he was assaulting them, and so they decided to kill him. I think the idea and the concept makes sense, but I really, really did not like the writing. I thought it was very dense and very anxious and didn't offer enough out of it to make like the anxiousness and the scrappiness of it worthwhile. It just was like not totally together. I wouldn't recommend it, but I appreciate the idea. Then I read The Age of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion. I liked the beginning of it and I liked the end. I did not really vibe with the middle. So this book is about when Joan Didion's husband dies of a heart attack and her daughter's in the hospital simultaneously. Supposed to be like a memoir of her grief in that year. And the first part is, and I had really high expectations for the writing because she's a really well-known and admired author. This wasn't reflective in the middle. It mostly was her just telling you what happened. Like, my daughter is now in this hospital and I call up this editor and get dinner with them and I'm staying at this hotel and then I fly here. It just was saying this happened without a lot of emotional involvement, and this isn't one of her books that's like reporting on something, it's like a reflection piece, and there really wasn't a lot of reflection in the middle. It kind of bothered me because she has a lot of really apparent, like, hit you in the face privilege in this book, where like it's not subtle. She's like, I worked at Time, and then I worked at Vogue, and then I saw this person's Oscar, and I met with this great editor to have dinner at, and I'm staying at this 5-star restaurant, and I remember living in Beverly Hills with my daughter going to private school. So it's like, can we like slow down? Especially because that's not what I'm here for. Like, I'm not here for your lifestyle or like your aesthetic. I'm here for your thoughts on human relationships and grief. And so the middle part where that's not happening just rubbed me the wrong way, and I was not here for it. And then the end, starting at like chapter 15 or 16 onwards, actually went back into the grief, and I was like, oh, okay, it's good again. Like, she's getting it done. But the middle was like, it was bothering me, unfortunately. And then this book I finished yesterday. I read the 4th volume of Heartstopper and loved it. Charlie and Nick, and it's their love story. It's like a great series. It like warms my heart and like sucks me into the little world, and it's awesome. This book is about Charlie's experience with having an eating disorder and first getting help for it. And I first developed my eating disorder in high school, and I think had a lot of the same experiences as him, where it's like, this is happening and I feel bad, but I don't really know what to do about it, and I don't really want help, and like, what's happening. I just really felt like I understood the experience in this book, and it made me look back on that time with a lot of heart. It just was like so nice to reflect on in this way, and it really made me cry. It just was really sweet, and like, I really appreciated it. The mental health story at the center of it, I just was like, oh my god, this is like exactly like me. It was really awesome to read. Kind of sad to end on that. Those are all the books I've read so far this year. I think I'll try to do more updates. I always say like, I'm gonna try to do this, and then I don't do it, but I'm really gonna try, because I don't know, these videos are fun for me, and I then get messages from my friends being like, I'm reading this book now, and I'm like, that's so cute. So that's everything I read so far this year. I'll try to maybe do more consistent stuff, but no promises. But this was kind of a lot to talk about, so I'm like, I don't really want to leave this until the end of 2025 where I have another 20-something books to talk about in one video, because that is kind of a lot. If you've read any of these, let me know, and if you have recommendations for the rest of the year, don't tell me, because I have my recommendations here. I have book club, I have books I'm picking up, so I actually don't want recommendations, because I'm not going to read them, but if you have them, read them yourself, again, because I don't want them. Okay, well, I think next time I might do a writing update with where I'm at with my own book, but yeah, these were great. So thanks for watching this whole thing about all of these books I read. We'll try to be more consistent from here on out, because that was a lot of talking. Yeah, okay, I'll see you next time, whether that's next week or in 3 months, but whenever it is, I'll see you then. Okay, bye.